What if the truth is scarier than fiction? What if the story you are about to hear now is not just fiction, but actually happened in our real world? What if the characters you'll get to know aren't just characters, but real people who lived and died in horrific ways? Are you ready to face the truth, or do you prefer to remain in ignorance? If you want to know the answer, listen carefully to the following story, but be careful, you may regret it. This is not an ordinary story, but rather a terrifying and angry story, a story that tells about scary story. Pontiac Nutria had always loved the water. He had grown up near the shores of Lake Michigan, where he learned to swim, dive, and fish. He had joined the Navy, where he excelled as a frogman and a spy. He had traveled the world, exploring the depths of the oceans and the secrets of the nations. He had seen wonders and horrors, beauty and brutality, life and death. But nothing had prepared him for the pool. The pool was in the basement of the UHC Archaeology, the grand palace of the Harsmae regime. The regime was a stratocracy, a military dictatorship that ruled over the ancient land of Harsmae with an iron fist. The UHC Coyote, which meant the place where the sun rises, was the symbol of the regime's power and glory. It was a massive complex of buildings, gardens, and monuments, surrounded by high walls and guarded by elite soldiers. It was the residence of the supreme commander, the leader of the regime, and his family and entourage. It was also the headquarters of the military, the intelligence, and the propaganda. Pontiac Nutria had infiltrated UHC Coyote as part of a covert operation. He was a member of the Swimmers, a group of rebels who opposed the regime and fought for freedom and democracy. The Swimmers were named after their signature tactic. They used underwater tunnels and sewers to access the Coyote and other strategic locations, planting bombs, stealing documents, and sabotaging equipment. They were also skilled in espionage, assassination, and sabotage. They were the regime's worst nightmare. Pontiac Nutria had a specific mission: to find and destroy the Pentagon, a secret device that the regime was developing in the basement of the HKG Coyote. The Pentagon was rumored to be a weapon of mass destruction, capable of unleashing a nuclear holocaust or a biological plague. The Swimmers had obtained some information about the Pentagon from a defector, but they needed more details to locate and disable it. Pontiac Nutria was the best man for the job. He had a knack for finding and solving puzzles, and he had a photographic memory. He also had a disguise. He posed as a pool cleaner, a lowly servant who had access to the basement. The pool was his cover and his curse. It was a large, rectangular pool filled with clear blue water. It was located in a dimly lit room next to the Pentagon's laboratory. It was supposed to be a recreational facility for the Supreme Commander and his guests, but it was rarely used. It was also a trap. The pool was rigged with sensors and cameras, and the water was electrified. If anyone tried to swim in the pool without authorization, they would be detected and killed. Pontiac Nutria knew the risks, but he also saw an opportunity. He had discovered a flaw in the pool's security system. There was a blind spot in the cameras, a small area near the corner of the pool, where he could hide and observe the laboratory. He had also found a way to bypass the sensors and the electricity. He wore a special suit, made of rubber and metal, that insulated him from the shocks and masked his presence. He had also brought a device, a miniature scanner, that could scan and copy any document or data that he could see through the glass wall that separated the pool from the laboratory. Pontiac Nutria had been playing this dangerous game for several nights, sneaking into the pool, scanning the laboratory, and escaping before dawn. He had collected a lot of valuable information, but he had not found the Pentagon yet. He knew it was hidden somewhere in the laboratory, behind a locked door or a secret panel. He needed more time, more clues, more luck. He also needed more caution. He was not alone in the pool. He had noticed her on the first night, a shadowy figure that emerged from the water and disappeared into the darkness. He had thought she was a guard or a spy, but he soon realized she was something else. She was a woman, a young and beautiful woman with long black hair and pale, smooth skin. She wore a white dress, a simple and elegant dress that contrasted with her surroundings. She was silent and graceful, like a ghost or a mermaid. She was Wong Sookie, the daughter of the Supreme Commander. Pontiac Nutria did not know why she came to the pool, or how she avoided the security system. He did not know what she wanted, or what she knew. He did not know if she was a friend or a foe, a lover or a killer. He only knew that he was drawn to her, and that she was drawn to him. They had never spoken, never touched, never acknowledged each other. They had only watched, from a distance, from the corner of their eyes, from the depths of their souls. They had danced, in their own way, a dance of mystery and suspense, a dance of attraction and danger, a dance of life and death. They had danced until the night when everything changed. It was the night of the full moon, a night of madness, a night of fate and destiny. Pontiac Nutria had decided to make his final move. He had gathered enough information to locate the Pentagon, and he had prepared a bomb to destroy it. He had also made a plan to escape, using a secret exit that he had discovered in the basement. He was ready to end his mission and his dance. He was also ready to meet her, Wong Sookie, the woman of the pool. He had grown fond of her, despite the danger and the mystery. He had sensed a connection, a bond, a spark. He had felt a curiosity, a desire, a longing. He had wanted to talk to her, to touch her, to kiss her. He had wanted to know her, to understand her, to love her. He had also wanted to save her, from the regime, from the Pentagon, from herself. He had learned some things about her, from the documents and the data that he had scanned. She was the daughter of the Supreme Commander, but she was also his prisoner. She was kept in isolation, under surveillance, under control. She was used as a pawn, a tool, a weapon. She was the key to the Pentagon. The Pentagon was not a device, but a project. A project that involved genetic engineering, mind control, and psychic powers. A project that aimed to create a super soldier, a super weapon, a superhuman. A project that used Wong Sookie as a guinea pig, a test subject, a prototype. She was the Pentagon. Pontiac Nutria had seen the evidence, the experiments, the results. He had seen the horrors, the pain, the suffering. He had seen the scars, the wounds, the marks. He had seen the power, the potential, the danger. He had seen the madness, the rage, the terror. He had seen her eyes that changed color from black to blue to red. Her eyes that glowed in the dark, that pierced through the glass, that burned into his soul. Her eyes that spoke of fear, of anger, of sadness. Her eyes that spoke of love. He had to free her, to help her, to protect her. He had to end the Pentagon, to stop the regime, to save the world. He had to do it tonight, before it was too late. He entered the pool, wearing his suit and carrying his bomb. He hid in his usual spot, near the corner of the pool, and waited for her. He waited for a long time, but she did not come. He wondered if she was sick, or busy, or scared. He wondered if she had changed her mind, or her heart, or her side. He wondered if she had betrayed him, or forgotten him, or left him. He decided to look for her, to find her, to confront her. He left his bomb in the water and swam to the other side of the pool. He reached the glass wall and peered into the laboratory. He saw a scene that chilled his blood and broke his heart. He saw her, Wong Sookie, lying on a metal table, surrounded by wires and machines. He saw her, pale and still, with electrodes attached to her head and chest. He saw her, monitored and measured with numbers and graphs on a screen. He saw her, unconscious and helpless, with a needle in her arm and a tube in her mouth. He saw him, the Supreme Commander, standing over her, wearing a white coat and a black mask. He saw him, cold and cruel, with a scalpel in his hand and a smile on his face. He saw him, proud and confident, with a microphone in his ear and a camera in his eye. He saw them, the audience, watching from a distance on a large screen. He saw them, the generals, the ministers, the scientists. He saw them, the allies, the enemies, the rivals. He saw them, the world that was about to witness the birth of the Pentagon. He heard him, the Supreme Commander, speaking to the audience with a voice that echoed in the room. He heard him explaining the project, the process, the purpose. He heard him announcing the success, the breakthrough, the achievement. He heard him revealing the secret that Pontiac Nutria had already guessed, but had hoped to be wrong. He heard him saying her name, her real name, her code name. He heard him saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Pentagon." I present to you my daughter. I present to you Wong Song Sookie. He heard her, Wong Song Sookie, waking up with a scream that shattered the glass. He heard her, feeling the pain, the shock, the horror. He heard her, unleashing the power that she had been hiding, the power that she had been fearing. He heard her, destroying the machines, the wires, the needles. He heard her, attacking the Supreme Commander, the scalpel, the mask. He saw her, Wong Song Sookie, rising from the table with a fury that set the room on fire. He saw her, changing her eyes that turned from black to blue to red. He saw her, glowing in the dark, glowing with a light that blinded the audience. He saw her, breaking the wall that separated her from him. He felt her, Wong Song Sookie, reaching for him with a force that pulled him out of the water. He felt her, touching him with a heat that burned his suit. He felt her, kissing him with a passion that melted his lips. He felt her, loving him with a love that pierced his heart. He loved her, Wong Song Sookie, the woman of the pool, the woman of his dreams, the woman of his nightmares. He loved her, the Pentagon, the weapon of mass destruction, the weapon of mass salvation. He loved her, the daughter of the Supreme Commander, the daughter of the enemy, the daughter of the devil. He loved her, and he died. He died when she exploded with a blast that shook the earth. He died when she ignited with a flame that scorched the sky. He died when she detonated with a force that triggered his bomb. He died, and he took them with him, them and the Hakait UHC, IoT, and the regime, and the world. He died, and he left a mark that lasted for generations, a mark that became a legend. He died, and he left a tale that was told and retold, a tale that was written and rewritten. He died, and he left a name that was remembered and revered, a name that was sung and celebrated. He died, and he left a name that was Wong Song Sookie Swimmer. Thank you for joining us for this spine-tingling story. We hope you found it both thrilling and thought-provoking. If you enjoyed this video, please consider participating in our channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing it with your friends. Your support goes a long way in helping us create more engaging content for you. Goodbye, and may you always tread carefully in the world of the unknown.